Good morning, good night. Today, we're going to the track. All right, let's go. I'm up too gosh darn early in the morning, and I need to get there like sooner rather than later. Pedal down, hit Route 55, watch out for the state boys. Let's go. We're doing an HPDE, a high performance driver education, and basically you take your own car on track, but to do that, basically track requires a little bit more. Make sure you've got brake pads. Make sure you've got good brake fluid. Make sure you've got coolant. Make sure you've got oil in your car. Top it off if you think you're a little bit low. Bring a little bit to the track with you. Make sure your tires are good. You've got tread. They're not worn out. Things like this. You got to make sure that the car is ready, and you got to make sure you're ready. Each one of these events starts out with a little bit of a classroom, making sure you learn the actual track. There's usually instructors telling you what to do. You need to learn the track. You need to learn the flags if you're not familiar with them, and just get ready for you. I went out with this guy. He actually was one of the head instructors, and he took me out in a supercharged Miata. And guess what? He was pretty darn fast. So you learn a lot just by riding along with somebody. Then, after we did that, we jumped into our car, and that's the Lotus Evora. It's a 2011 Series 1, non-supercharged, naturally aspirated. Yeah, right. So this is first time out on track with this car, doing a true HPDE full track session. This happened to be 6 20-minute sessions throughout the day. So a full day starting, get there at 7:30 in the morning and leave at 5. So that's a full day. Trust me, you're going to be tired by the end of that if you sign up for one of these. But it's also one of the best ways to get seat time and track experience. So for this, we're just getting out. We're just learning the track. I'm looking over my left shoulder to make sure no one's coming up the turn behind me before I cross over, and then we're on it. I'm just coming up to speed as I warm up the tires, I warm up the engine, I warm up the car, and of course warm up myself. If you've never raced on track, I do recommend you do it. I recommend you get the instructor, learn. Even speeds of 90, 100 miles an hour suddenly feel a lot more intense when you're doing it on a track because the turns come at you real quick. So this is one of my first good laps. Start the timer right there across the start-finish line, down the straight. Had a peak speed of a 116 there, but thereabouts. Later on in the day, I was up to about 120. Through that turn, this turn gave me a little bit of trouble. That was turn 1. I decided not to focus on that too much. I think a lot of people focus on turn 1 because it's sort of the first breaking point out of the biggest straight, but there was so much else to learn with this track that I just wanted to focus on some of the other turns as my main learning areas. This back straight was actually a lot of fun. You could get some very significant speed. That's up over 100 miles an hour just down that back straight. This was pretty fun through here. I like this. This was a hard braking zone, turning left into here and then on it, big downshift as you go through there. I found myself over braking again and again into this turn. I can really carry more speed there, so I need to work on that. Finally, we get down into the Octopus down here, which is this tight section all through here. And these turns 7, 8, and 9 get very tight. You're always on the limit of the grip. It's whatever your tires are give you, that's about as fast as you can go. And just, this is where the Lotus shines. Like that GTI in front of me was so much slower through this section than me. I mean, I'm genuinely like letting off the gas here just so I don't really get right up his trumpet. And then here I'm getting on it again. So here I'm on the gas, and notice that he gets into turbo and suddenly he's walking away from me. So far slower through the turny bits, and then down the straight he's gone. So that's okay. If I want to pass him, I got to set it up better. Basically, this was a 147 and change, which was pretty good for me. So this was my best lap of the day. I actually just pointed this guy by and then decided to chase him down. Now, he actually goes in a little too hot to this turn. Watch him here. He goes and dips a wheel off the edge there. So not the preferred line. Try to stay on the track and maybe get onto the red and white alligator there, but don't go any farther. So I decide I'm going to see what I can do to track him down. And on power, I'm actually chasing him down here. I felt like I had this turn really well here. That was a good turn for me. I was going pretty fast. Down this straight, I had a lot of confidence. I was hitting a high of 107 there, which is pretty solid, at least for me. I'm turning in a little bit too early there. I'm braking a little too hard everywhere. That's something I need to work on, but still really fun. Basically through here, the car is great. I'm learning it. I'm getting on it better. I'm trying not to overbrake. I continuously overbraked in this turn. I think I could easily be 90, 95 miles per hour through there and keep it going without an issue, but that's a little bit of these two turns here are all sort of downhill. They're a little bit intimidating, especially with like the houses and stuff beyond it, so it just feels like you're going to go off. Through here, I'm actually in fourth gear. I really need, I had to get down into third gear, which is where I really belong. So there we go. Get into third, get on the gas, and start winding in the throttle as I can. This felt pretty good, felt pretty straight as I exited here and then on it, and actually that lighter car up there, he is gone. So he was making up a lot of his time, not on the straights, but in the twisties, so good for him. Anyway, I come down the straight, and I'm feeling pretty good here. I hit a pretty high top speed, and this was a 144 for me. So again, that was a top speed of like 116. I was somewhere around 117, 118 on my probably maximum pass. As mentioned, this is point to pass in the novice group here that I was riding, and this was my first real HPDE on this track. So basically you just kind of get right up on the bum of the guy you're trying to pass, make sure he knows you're there, and then wait for him to signal you out the driver's side window. So I'm coming up. I probably could have been a little bit closer on him. I actually wasn't expecting such a good pass by, so thank you to him, tip of the hat. And then boom, I'm on it, give him some space. I'm not using the crossover here, leave him plenty of space on the outside. So one other thing I want to show you, there's a cloud of smoke up to the right. If you look up to the right, and that actually is a car that's gone off. So I noticed that out of my corner of my eye. I kind of lift off here, I slow down, and it turns out there's an M4, I think M5, I don't know, some BMW over there in the grass. Somebody got a little bit excited. I don't know how he got all turned around like that, but clearly got a little tripped up. Over here, here's another example of getting by. Again, you see a lot of the hatchbacks on course, the hot hatches, because they're great cars. They do it all, right? You drive, you can change your wheels and tires because you bring them with you, and then you've got a fun car to get there and get back that doesn't beat you up too bad. Now, I think this is a Focus ST. I don't think it's the RS, but if it is, either way, he's so much slower than me through here, and then I expect him to kind of tear away from me with the turbo. But I'm staying a little close on him. I'm right here, and he's starting to go, and just when I think he may totally disappear, he does give me the point by, so good on him. And then it's my job, of course, to get on it and make sure we can complete this pass safely and get by. As the passee, if you're being passed, a little lift helps as well. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Because one of the first sessions we had, we all got caught behind a train of a guy that would not let us by, and that's terrible, man. I got a few good laps in as I was learning the course, but then suddenly you can see how many cars are ahead here. I mean, there's probably 7, 8 cars here in a train, all waiting to get by, and there's basically somebody at the front that's not pointing us by, so that's no fun. Same thing down the straight, still got cars there, and everyone's just kind of going, what the hell? So and it turns out that guy got black flagged. He had to come in. He got talked to by the instructors and continued to be a little bit of a problem throughout the day. Here he is again. I caught him on a different session. This is exiting the Octopus here. This is one of the Audi, I don't know, S6. Somebody will correct me. I don't know. Is there an S6? It's bigger than an S4, I'll tell you that. Regardless, he's this fast car. I mean, one of the problems we had was he would drag race down the straight, and he would beat people, but then he would be slow everywhere else. Thankfully, he did point me by. Actually, that was an instructor in the passenger seat that went out with him finally. Again, look, just because you think you're fast doesn't mean you're fast, especially me. Look, you got to know it. Even in the novice group, even with a good car, you're going to get passed, and you got to be ready for it. And you can't have an ego about it. This is not a race. So here we go. Boom. Point him by. There's a C506. I talked to that guy. That's a 2003. Very nice car. He's got all types of work done to that. And boom, there you go. There's a Ford GT 350, Mustang GT 350. So that is basically a track-focused car. So I have no problem letting the V8s go right by, especially guys with more experience, guys that know what they're doing out there. Let them by. You don't need them on your tail. They'll be gone, and you can just get back to your track time. If you do a point by and you plan it right, it doesn't even really affect your lap time by much because those guys are ready to be gone and they're not going to be waiting around for you. So let them go by. It happens, it's fine, and there's no ego about it. Shout out to one of the local members, Eric, who actually I've met a couple of times now, and a great guy. He's taking me now for a ride in his Evora 400, which is awesome. This happens to be the IPS, and I think he's got like a little bit done to the car, but it's really mostly stock, and it's just awesome how well the car is straight out of the box.
Thanks for taking me out.
Sure.
I'll try to keep my
Try and keep it on the track.
yeah, right. Yeah, you worry about that. That's not my job.
And I have to say, one of the coolest things about owning a Lotus is the ownership group. I mean, the people that you meet are all awesome. Everyone has sort of a good mentality about it. They know they're not driving Ferrari or McLaren, and everyone sort of has, you know, a mentality of we're out here to have a good time, to take care of these awesome cars and really enjoy them, no matter what that means to you, right? For some people, that's a Sunday cruise. For some people, it's tracking, and for other people, it could be something else. So car shows and things like that. They're great cars. They deserve, you know, the attention that we give them. And the people in the Lotus community everyone's been awesome that I've met. I really love the community. All right, here we are on our flying lap, basically across the start-finish line. Lap starts now. Turns in later, straightens out this turn a little bit more, all the way out to the rumble strip here on the curbing, which is great. Touches the inside curve, back out, and, you know, just smoothly going through here. That whole first kind of couple of turns is a little weak for me. I like this turn. He does a great job here. Obviously, he's going down the back straight over the hill. The car gets light and way later on the brakes there, and does more of a track out here. Down here, this is a downhill turn. It looks scarier than it is. Of course, he goes way out here and then tracks out well there. This whole section back here through the Octopus, this is all about tire management, carrying your speed, trying to make sure the car actually moves. Downshifts through here. He takes a much tighter line than I was taking all day, and it seems to work for him, so something I can consider for next time. And then boom, on the gas, power out, try and make this as straight as possible through here, and then again straight, and late as you can turn in to straighten this out, this run down to the start finish. So it looks like he grabbed a 138 there, even with my fat butt over here in the passenger seat. So very fast. A lot to learn from just watching somebody that knows what he's doing. Overall, I was really happy with the way the car performed. I was really happy with the way I progressed throughout the sessions. The car did really well. The tires, which are the Falcon RT 660s, they did very well. They did start getting greasy by the fifth session. I was pretty happy with the way nothing overheated. The car was perfect, dead center on temperature. I added a little bit oil just because I felt like I wanted to add a little. I just wanted to, for my own peace of mind, add a little oil to the car. I did that about session 3 or 4. Clutch was fine. That's a known issue with some of these cars. The clutch you boil the clutch fluid. My clutch, I wrapped it earlier. It never had any issues with that. The brakes never had any issues. In fact, the brakes were amazing amazing. One of the best parts about driving this car is how well it stops. Even the Series 1 naturally aspirated car has amazing brakes, and it stops very fast, so that's good stuff. The shifter has been notably better since I adjusted it. It still could be better yet. It's not the best shifter, right? It's still sort of a weak point of the car. If you had a 2012 or later, you'd be happier. Those cars came with revised shifter linkages and shifter cables. Ultimately, I had a great time. You know, I didn't crash the car. Oh, by the way, I want to tell you this. If you're going to take your car on track, you know, you might want to consider investing in track insurance. Your normal insurance is not going to cover you. And if you wreck your car out there, you're in it for yourself. And bluntly, I can't afford to replace this car. So I did invest in track insurance, and it's not cheap. It's hundreds of dollars. That very well may double the cost of your track day, but look, I can't afford to replace this car, so I decided to go with the track insurance, and I think you should as well. But all things considered, I had a really great time out there. I learned a ton. I got lots and lots of seat time. I mean, 6 20-minute sessions is a lot. You end the day exhausted. You don't even, like, the drive home, I'm like, I don't even want to be in this car anymore. Luckily, the Lotus is a fairly comfortable car to be in for the drive home. But tires were good. I had let off pressure. We had kind of figured out a 31 front PSI, 33 rear PSI seemed to be the right thing. So every time I'd come in and the tire pressures were inflated from the heat, I would bleed them off another pound or so, or whatever it needed, just to get it back down to just whatever was needed to get it back down to 31, 33. So really great time. And I recommend, if you do have a Lotus, take it out, you know, take precautions, make sure your car is ready. Don't just go out thinking you're going to be the fastest guy out there. You won't. These guys have experience. They're going to blow you away in a little Miata, and it happens. Don't be shy about it. You can have fun, be safe, point people by, have a good time, take care of your car, and enjoy. And if you want to learn more about working on this car, I mean, I've got a video on the new wheels I got from GRP, Greg's Racing Parts. Those were great. I've got videos on getting the car into the air so you can actually swap wheels and tires. I've got stuff from Hethel Sport, that's really cool. I've adjusted the shifter linkage to get that to work better. I've changed fluids. I've wrapped my clutch line. All of these videos are available, and you can check them out. So please do.